Hello and welcome to this episode of the GrowVC Everyone Funding Startups podcast. I'm your host Marcus, and today we're talking to Ali Ahmed, who's a founder of Lutebox. And Lutebox is an innovation in the entertainment space, but I'll let Ali tell you more about that later on. So first of all, Ali, thank you for joining us today.
Hi Marcus, thanks so much for having me.
Why don't you first of all give a little background on yourself for our audience?
Let me just start off with kind of my background and then tell you more about the business. I had the idea for Lutebox when I was doing an MBA in 2005. And at that time, I did my dissertation around, instant streaming entertainment, music devices and the sort. And after my MBA, I decided to kind of get into the corporate world. I worked at Unilever for a while as a brand manager. I worked at GSK as a new product development manager. I've also worked in the Middle East as a kind of a marketing consultant before I came to the UK. And I came to the UK 2 years ago. I did another master's from Lancaster, and that was in advanced marketing. And at Lancaster, I got the opportunity to actually put all my ideas around social entertainment together and launch the business. And we incorporated Lutebox as a company in January, end of January this year. And then we've been growing since. That's just kind of like a short bio on me and kind of the company.
Why don't you also introduce Lutebox, what it is and what the concept is and what you do? Because I know that you had quite an impressive start with the company. So you could also give a little bit of background to what happened early on in the Lutebox story.
Just to kind of start off, Lutebox is a social entertainment hub. It's a one-stop shop for users to stream premium entertainment content such as films, shows, music, sports, and games while engaging with their friends in a social context. And they do that through video chats and simulcasts. So something unique to Lutebox is if a user is in London and a friend of theirs is in New York, both of them can come together and watch a movie at the same time while video chatting with each other on the website. That's the concept. That's the idea behind Lutebox. After incorporating in January, we were very fortunate to win an innovation grant from UCL, University College London. It gave us a kind of drive and impetus to kind of get other investors involved and interested in the proposition. We were fortunate to kind of raise investment from 8 seed investors as well in February and March. At the same time, I hired a team of about 4 developers, me and my co-founder Awais, who's the CTO. We got 3 developers and 1 designer on board. In March, something very interesting happened. We were selected to pitch at the IC Tomorrow contest. And I don't know if you're familiar with the IC Tomorrow contest. Was set up by the Technology Strategy Board to facilitate interactions between tech startups and large media companies. And so it was great because it gave me a chance to pitch Lutebox to people, senior VPs at all the major record labels and some film studios and major broadcasters. And from that, we were one of the winners of IC Tomorrow, luckily, and that really helped drive forward the interactions with larger publishers. And we were able to finalize a deal with a major record label, and we're hoping to close a few more deals in the next few weeks. Apart from that, we're currently raising another round. We're raising an angel round right now, and that will hopefully close by end of July. And again, that will help give us enough runway to kind of really get the alpha up there, get users to start using it, and be in a position by end of the year where we can do 2 things: raise a larger Series A round and also launch on a global basis.
And coming this far, what has the reception been like? What are the biggest selling points for people that they automatically get?
Something really interesting that I was going through the Twitter kind of search results on Lutebox, and it was after we were featured on a major blog. And some of the things that people were discussing was how cool would it be to watch a Pixar animated film with my cousins, across the world. And so it's something that really appeals to 2 segments mainly. It sort of has a mass appeal, but 2 segments in particular that I'm focused on are teenagers and expats. Expats being people who've left their home country and they've gone to the UK, the US to study and work. And it's really interesting for them because it allows them to do what they used to do at home. If a group of cousins used to get around and watch a sporting match, a football match, or a cricket match in their living room together, but now they're dispersed in 5, 6 different cities. Lutebox allows them to come together, watch content in that same kind of stimulating social atmosphere. And then I mentioned teenagers as well. Some of the kind of feedback I've gotten from teens in that market, we did a few focus groups and kind of got a lot of feedback from teenagers. And it's something that they're doing right now. A lot of teens are watching TV in their living rooms or on their laptops, and they're tweeting about it. They're chatting with their friends. They're on Skype. And it's sort of a broken model. So they're doing the second screen watching, but not in a convenient way. And so this really appeals to them. And when I've shown them Lutebox, the prototype, and when they learn more about what we're doing, I mean, they really get it. And so we're hoping to drive forward the proposition with these two major segments.
All right. You mentioned that you had ongoing discussions with publishers, record labels, and so on. So the rights are naturally at a very kind of epicenter of Lutebox in a way. How have the discussions gone with people that could provide that content for Lutebox?
Sure. I mean, we've gotten a kind of great reception from the major publishers, and the reason is because of a sort of innovative business model that we've created. And we really thought long and hard. And I think I mentioned before, when I was at Lancaster, I did my dissertation around Lutebox as a proposition. And a lot of my research told me that, a standard revenue split of 70-30 isn't going to attract publishers, especially since we're a small startup and we're not at the scale of someone like iTunes or Hulu. And so I really concentrate on how we can create innovation in our business model. And so what we're doing is effectively we're monetizing Lutebox like a social network, which allows us to give back most of the revenues in the revenue split to our publishers. So what that does is it creates an almost free distribution vehicle for our publishers to distribute their content to sort of a global audience and monetize it at the same time. And probably most importantly, embed it in a highly social atmosphere. And that's something that really appeals to the publishers, and we've gotten great feedback from them, and they're very interested in taking it forward with us.
And obviously at the start, when you started Lutebox and you won these couple of contests and awards, your path was quite fortunate, put it that way. You've had many discussions with investors. You also closed an angel round earlier on. Was it 8 investors at that point?
8 investors, yes.
Yes. So in terms of closing that first angel round and then going forward with another angel round, how have those discussions gone, and what has been your learning from that process dealing with investors, angel investors, or even VCs?
I've spent, I mean, you probably know this, Marcus, that I've spent a lot of time speaking to a lot of VCs, most of them based in Europe, some of them in the US. And with venture capital firms, the thing that comes up most often than not is they want to see traction. They want to see either revenues or user numbers. And for them to commit such a large amount to invest at concept stage or at prototype stage is very difficult. And even with the earliest kind of seed stage funds that I've spoken to, it's very difficult for them to commit before they see that level of traction. But again, at the end of the day, we're all early stage startups. We need to get a boost from somewhere. We need to get the funding, and that is what then drives forward the proposition and gets us to the next milestones. And so with our first round, a few ex-colleagues of mine were very, very interested in the proposition, and because they know my track record, they've seen what I've done in the corporate world. They know my character. They trust that I can get things done if I put my mind to it. They pretty much invested in me, and at that time it was simply a concept with a prototype behind it. And then once we got those 2 investors on board, the next 6 were very interested in coming on board because of the first 2. And so it's sort of like a domino effect. If a few people are interested, people see that interest level, they get sort of a level of risk gets kind of subdued, and they're much more interested in investing. Right now, the kind of levels of interest we're seeing from smaller angels and even a VC fund who's interested in kind of investing in our angel round, so long as they get a discount in the Series A, we've gotten that because I've been able to take in a very short period of time the small investment we got and multiply that in terms of output. And so in 4 months, we've managed to get the website, the alpha, up and ready. Right now, we're simply waiting for a few more deals to come in from publishers so that we can launch it. I've managed to